Welcome to Food and Loathing, a podcast about the lives and meals of a hearty band of Las Vegas food writers. That band, we're breaking up the band,
No,
man.
we're not.
No, we're not breaking up the band.
Pretty charitable word band here with us.
I was thinking of like Robin Hood and his band of merry
Right?
men, right?
Yeah.
Like you guys, I mean, Rich is never fucking
Right?
merry, I'll give you that. My band of cranky men.
And it's too hot to wear
Yeah.
tights.
However,
so-
I have been banned, so there you go.
I've been banned from some places as well. Anyway, the people I'm talking about is me, Al Mancini. I've been writing about food in Las Vegas for about as long as most of my recent bartenders have been alive. So I suppose I'm here to give the historic perspective. I'm also the creator of the online restaurant guide Neon Feast, so I do my best to stay up to date with the newest and best. My co-host, Gemini Stevens, writes about food for multiple publications, including the town Summerlin, and serves as editor-in-chief for neonnews.vegas, where there's actually a lot going on these days.
There's a lot going on these days,
A lot happening
yeah.
over there. Perhaps we'll tell you about that during today's show. And then twisting our knobs, sliding our faders, fixing it in post. He's our engineer. He's our producer. He's our resident fast food victim. He is our inspiration. He even has been writing shit for Neon News.
Yeah.
Who else but Mr. Rich Johnson? Welcome, Rich.
Don't get up.
Yes. And we have sitting with us, getting ready to join us in the center part of this show, but I got a feeling we're going to have them chime in.
Absolutely.
Okay, I guess I should tell people where we are. We are
Yeah.
coming to you this entire episode from Bourbon Steak in the Four Seasons Resort located within the Mandalay Bay property, but of
Yep.
course it's downstairs. It's got its own entrance, by the way, free valet parking if you come to Bourbon Steak. I always like to tell people about that. We're being hosted by Chef Josh Smith, who's here. Say hi, Josh.
Howdy.
There you go. And he is joined by Chef James Trees, who's actually mic'd up right now. James, how you doing, brother?
Doing good.
Cool. And they're going to be telling you all about a collaborative thing that they got going on. I guess we'll talk about all of that. It's called Chef's Corner. It's going to be July 10th. Definitely mark your calendar now, but then you can fill in all the details when these guys join us for a big section. We tell you all about it. That's about 15 minutes out right now. And since we have him here, we're probably going to ask him some other shit, though. Also in this episode, an extended interview with celebrity chef Fabio Viviani, as well as a report on my media meal at his brand new restaurant, Ai Pazz, not Ai Poppy, Ai Pazz at the JW Marriott Summerlin. And we have some news from our friends at EDO. But before we get to any of that, Las Vegas has a one-of-a-kind restaurant community. The three of us get to view it from a very interesting angle. We eat out a lot on our own. We get invited to a lot of events. We hear a lot of hot rumors. We do our best to check them out. Nobody has a perspective quite like the three of us, so we get a lot of raw information. And that's where we like to talk about what we've been doing locally, right?
Yeah.
Because it kind of gives you a window into where we have to go, where we want to go, where we go despite not being invited, where we go because we're invited, all that shit. Jim, why don't you start off? You've been dining out at all recently?
Not as much as I'd like to. So that's what I would actually like to turn it on our two guests today.
Ooh, okay.
Where have you guys been dining? What's been your local favorite recently?
Hey, this is Josh. I love Tamba at Town Square.
Yeah.
Indian food. It kind of feels like you're actually in London. It doesn't feel like you're in Vegas at all. Beautiful, beautiful build out. Incredible cocktails by the inimitable Giuseppe Gonzalez. Just a fantastic experience. Perfect.
Did you ever
perfect
go to
service.
the one when it was in the Hawaiian Center?
No, I was actually I was surprised to even know that it used
Oh
to
my
be
God.
a thing. But yeah,
Al
they
and I
really,
both we bonded over that over that memory. Yeah,
Really?
they were.
Was it
yeah.
incredible
Oh,
back
it was
then, too?
fantastic even back
Yeah,
then.
they've really, like,
but
stepped
it was
their game up, but-
smaller. It
yeah.
felt more like homey kind of thing.
Nice.
But yeah, I love hearing about this because I haven't been to the new one yet, so I'm a
You
little
have
envious.
to go check it out. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
How about you, James?
Let's see. We've been doing steakhouses, obviously, with getting ready for Rio. We've been eating at a lot of steakhouses. So over the last few weeks, we've eaten at Cut, Carver, JG, and Golden Steer. And I got to tell you, man, that is a tough game to be in. They all do almost the same thing so differently every single place.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Sean Griffin over at JG Steak. He wasn't in the house, and he actually walked over from Bellagio to come hang out with us for a little bit. And so it was good to see him. And obviously their front of the house there is just fantastic as well. all across the board, we see quality, and we know why that these places are successful.
Yeah, I want to talk about this when we get into the center of the show, but you know, I always say about having a steakhouse in Las Vegas, there are probably 15, 20 steakhouses on Las Vegas Boulevard that would be top 5 in any other city on earth.
If
right?
not number one, yeah.
Yeah, and so you've got to figure out a way to set yourself apart within that.
Yeah, and I think we have a pretty good game plan on that, but also, I mean, like, the people who are kind of like on my team right now who are like being a part of that and who are coming to these dinners, they ran Gallagher's, or they ran Hawthorne Grill, or they ran, all these other, amazing, strip venues. And so it's one of those things where we're kind of like taking like what we liked about working with one chef, what we liked about working over here, and then like kind of like taking the best of the best and kind of like doing it. Like I was just joking with Josh before we started. I opened the first Bourbon Steak ever when it was in Detroit.
That's awesome.
It was wild. Wow. And I mean, like, it's one of those things. So, like, I've been eating a lot of steakhouses. And so, I mean, like, Chef Matt over at Cut just knocks his, like, the apps part of that menu is just, like, the most interesting of all the steakhouses we've been to.
Okay.
And then, like, people talk shit about it, but the Golden Steer, tableside Caesar is amazing.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone
No
says.
doubt.
It's delicious, and they use garlic, and they use horrible ingredients to make it.
Garlic.
And let me tell you, I don't know what kind of magic they do in that bowl, but it came out, and we were like, wow, that's a really good Caesar salad. So it's like those things that we're seeing at all these other places,
Yeah.
and it's like, wow, that's like been pretty
Awesome.
cool. So every single steakhouse in Vegas is good.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It's like you can't compare apples to apples. It's weird.
Josh, when you were getting ready to come here and do the Bourbon Steak thing, did you go out and try a bunch of Las Vegas steakhouses as James is doing right now?
I wasn't on James's budget, but I did try a couple. I did go to Cut, and Matt is incredible. I've been to JG. I've been to Prime. All the best in Vegas.
And
Yeah.
JG for listeners is Jean Georges.
Yeah, my wife and I's first date was at Golden Steer. So
Nice.
we're big fans of Golden Steer.
All right.
Yeah, we like the old ambiance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Rich, you want to tell us where you've been dining recently,
This
man?
is pretty short. I actually have one dining, one home thing, and one media thing here. I was in Henderson the other day on the weekend looking for something better than burgers, but I didn't want a full sit-down walk through the parking lot at Sunset Station, which has some nice places. So a few blocks away, I stumbled onto Mr. Kim's Korean BBQ. It's a chain, it appears. Cheaper, the 2 lunch deals, $29.99, all you can eat. I kept it to a couple of things: the bulgogi beef, the marinated chicken, a little small California roll that had some crunchy stuff on top. I don't know what it is, but it was good. One nice thing about this version of the all-you-can-eat Korean style, you pick your sides. I love having 18 sides in the Korean fashion, but when I'm all alone, I know I'm going to just waste so much.
Bangtan.
Yeah, so I don't want to waste. So I picked 3. The kimchi, of course, fish cake, and the radish salad had a nice little kick above and beyond the usual radish level. I was thinking about another meat, one of the porky things, but I just was full already. So there you go. There's a $35 level for lunch as well, more beef and pork and chicken items, some seafood things, but I was happy with my beef and chicken and sides.
Okay.
Remember all that great meat we took away from Todd's Unique last
Yes.
week?
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, when I say we,
When
I
we,
mean
the
me.
collective we, the royal we.
Well, I was going to share, but you guys had things to do.
Yeah,
so
we were
I
going
got it all.
places, man. I'm never going straight to a refrigerator.
I went to, I had half a great burger that reconstituted very nicely. I had 2 nice pieces of filet and a big hunk of that short rib. And so I was also flashing back for some reason to the great 1982 movie Diner. Anybody seen Diner?
Eons ago.
Yeah.
Man.
The bedrock dish for all those young guys hanging around the Fells Point Diner in the something 50s. French fries covered in gravy. Not cheese curds. This is Baltimore, not Toronto. No poutine.
Fucking disco fries, baby.
So I whacked,
disco fries, man.
I whacked up a russet potato, doused it in canola oil, popped them into my air fryer about 15 minutes. They come out great. Made some brown gravy using my handy Better Than bouillon. Poured it all over the fries, and then topped it all with the 2 pieces of cow that I had left,
Nice.
all chopped up. And I wasn't exactly transported back to Baltimore, hanging with Modell and Eddie and Shrevey and Boogie and Fenwick. but it did hit the spot.
Did you have to go online and look those up when you were writing out your notes for this?
Of course I did, yes.
Okay, I was just wondering, like, how much of a cinephile you fucking
Well,
are.
I do remember the actors, which were all pretty well unknown at the time. Paul Reiser, Steve Guttenberg, Daniel Stern, Mickey Rourke, Kevin
Oh my
Bacon.
God.
Kevin
Yeah.
Bacon, his only big part before then was in Animal House. Thank you, sir, may I have another?
Yeah.
All's kind.
Okay,
All right,
so
now,
there you go.
one
So
more thing.
disco fries at home.
Yeah.
What were you watching at home when you made disco fries?
I was watching The Bear.
Of course you were.
I binged season 4.
Kind of hard not to talk about The Bear. I did not watch it. Like, it
Yeah.
dropped, and everybody I know watched the entire 4th season,
We still have
like,
a few episodes
immediately.
to go, but we did start finally, yeah.
Yeah.
I decided to finish the 2nd season of Mayor of Kingstown before I started it.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I spent this weekend finishing that up.
That's intense.
And that's I
love
could
that.
do a whole thing, but
Yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't a fucking TV
Anyway.
podcast, so I'm not going to go any further about that. But no, I didn't start The Bear, so how was it?
Well, a reminder again, this is not a documentary about a high-end restaurant.
And no spoilers here.
Yeah, it is a venue for an intense, funny, sad, outrageous, gripping family drama. And that continues in season 4. But in the second scene of the first episode, it's a flashback with Carmen and his older brother, Mikey. Carmen explains why he wants to open a restaurant, and this is the quote. This will speak to you. Every one of our good memories happened in restaurants. All the good shit. It happened to us in restaurants because restaurants are special places. People go to restaurants to be taken care of. They go to restaurants to celebrate, to relax. They don't have to think about anything else for a minute. People go to restaurants to feel less lonely. Man, that hit me right in the gut about how true it was for my own family. You know, a list of Portland area and Seattle restaurants just blew through my head. Some still around, some long gone. I actually had to pause the stream for a couple of minutes and go, yeah.
Did you cry a little?
Close.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Call him out if he did. I
fuck-
think he did. I think he
Yeah,
did more
yeah.
than he's admitting. But
So fuck the critics who say this is another down season for The Bear. It is fantastic. And remember, anyone who's watched season 3, that nearly impossible to watch, brilliant episode that was extra long last year
the extra
of the
long
family
Jamie Lee Curtis
dinner.
The episode called The Fish.
Yeah, there's an episode that is nearly a sequel to that, also twice as long as usual, but brings back all those minor backstories of the Barzotto family and sort of ties a little bow around some of those. So, the folks at Hulu, one last thing, there's no decision yet on whether there will be a season 5 of The Bear. So
I think
enjoy
people
this
should
one.
wrap things up when they've done them well and not drag them
Yeah.
out. And every TV show I've ever liked has been dragged out for way too long.
Right?
Except Seinfeld.
Oh, that's
well,
one of 'em.
there's still some shit going on in that last
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
That did we really need it? But I mean, did we really need? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
right, yeah.
but look, what you said really touches me, and that's what I want to ask our chef friends here about, because I've never really worked in restaurants. I mean, you know, like flipping pizzas in a punk rock club really doesn't count. And so I'm working in restaurants. But one of the reasons that I write about restaurants and things that I've actually said to emails to my chef friends after great meals there is pretty online with exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Is that I've written about restaurants and I've written about music, and those are the backdrops against which the biggest stories of your lives take place, and they're embedded in your memories of those stories. And that's why restaurateurs and these people, just like musicians that I've spent my life working with, that's why I feel that I owe a certain amount of respect to telling the stories of chefs properly, because I know how much chefs affect people's lives. That's why when they took The Bear and they went off in a couple fucking directions that I really couldn't give rat's ass about, it was still always permeated with that idea of people that truly love that industry, that truly understand hospitality. So for me, it's always rung, I don't know, true, because I don't work there, but it reminds me of what I see in the chefs and the people that I love in this industry. You gentlemen, since we're turning this into a TV episode, and we might as well, I'm curious what you guys think of it from that angle.
Yeah.
Of The Bear?
The Bear, yeah.
I think it's a lot of drama. I think it kind of over dramatizes things, but I did love that scene that you're talking about. I've only seen the first episode and a half of season 4. And I think there's some things that are like over dramatized just for entertainment purposes, but it is cool to watch. It is fun to watch, you know. The first episode happened and I was like, I couldn't believe it was over. It was it's so short, and like I was looking at my wife, was that like the intro or was that the whole episode? Like, what just happened? Like kind of nothing happened was the problem, you know. It's like they kind of leave you hanging at the end of each one, and it doesn't have any like real conclusion. It's just like, you know, like you said, it's like about a family drama, and you know, from a chef's perspective, sometimes you look at it and you're like, it's kind of like overdone, but it's, you know.
What about that vibe?
The vibe.
Do you think it properly captures the way that people in your industry feel about hospitality, or is that just blown up for the,
I think some of it's blown up. I see, no disrespect to anybody, but I see them like, the cooks are like having back conversations about how they need to improve and like, oh man, I'm really letting the team down. I need to speed up. I need to work harder. I need to work faster. I'm like, I can't imagine a lot of my cooks having that conversation with each other. Like they probably go home and completely forget about what they're doing here, But like maybe I give them less credit than I should, but a lot of it is like, everybody in the show cares so much about their specific performance and their contribution to the team. I wish I had a team that, that strong, that cared that much, that were like, obsessing over it at home and what they did and what they didn't do right. But like
They're going to start now.
Yeah. Anybody hearing this? Yeah.
Well, it feels like they do when I eat here. I'm just going to throw in
Absolutely.
some love for your team. What about you, James?
I mean, I look at it as being a comedy because that's what it is.
It is, yeah.
It's supposed to be a comedy, and I think if you look at it through that lens, it makes a lot more sense. I mean, do they get to have some of the best chefs in the world on there kind of showing off like their properties and stuff? It's really nice. Some of those flashbacks, the time that he has at the laundry, the time he has, whether it's at 11 Madison Park or wherever, wherever he was supposed to be training. It's really cool to see that. And I think we've all, in order to get to that level that they're talking about, you have to internalize it and you have to take it home with you. Yeah. I think that we've gotten really good at this in this industry of trying to do that less. Yeah. But I think for where you're at in your life and where I am at my life, if we didn't do that, if we didn't go to the bar after work and internalize it and talk shit and like create those bonds across, across restaurants and across these different like times in our lives, because they were very important like times. I remember seeing you, like we would shoot the shit at Tony Dart's Away in like downtown, right? In downtown LA. You jump on your motorcycle and fucking go home, right? Like remember we were different people 15 years ago. Yeah. And I think that like when you look at those people who are inside of that position, we've gone through this and we've done these things, and I think I don't want to minimize what the kids and the cooks today are going through, because I think they are going through that, and I think they do internalize it, and they, and we do put pressure on people to get better every single day. I mean, yeah. I would actually feel bad if my cooks didn't go home and reflect on their day. If they come in and it's Groundhog's Day every day, you have the wrong people. Yeah. And it's like one of those things, like we always try to strive to do our best. And I mean, this is all I'm ever going to do for my entire life. I don't see myself selling real estate in the future. So it's like one of those things.
I don't know. You seem to have an eye for good real estate.
Which is a skill that I learned because I was a corporate chef for a great restaurateur with Paul Hibbler. I mean, this is an opportunity for me. I thought it was like another part of the skill set that you have to have, another tool in the bag. So I look at it as being like, this is a really cool insight for people who want to learn about restaurants and how seriously we take it. You look at like the staff that comes over from Ever, right? Those guys. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Those guys are professionals. Yeah. They're clean. They know what that is how those restaurants run. Yeah. So if you want to do a tasting menu, only 17-course menu, you better have the most baller expediters on earth. You better have the front of the house people communicating without hands, and nonverbal communication in all restaurants is super important. Having eyes up and understanding like where people are in their dining experience and how you can make things special, overhearing things, doing all this. This is all stuff that we do, right? And I think it's really cool they're able to pick that up. And I love that they have Matty Matheson kind of guiding them on that.
I love that.
He's amazing.
Because he's an amazing restaurateur, and that's great. And on top of it, he's fought addiction, he's done all this stuff. And like, Lord knows, we've all had a few too many drinks and done some dumb shit in life. He has too, and I think he kind of brings that element to the writing. And I think like having him in the writing room was really, really important to them. So I think that the Bear has done a good job. If this is the last season, I haven't watched it really, so that'll suck. I think the more that we streamline and make part of our culture what restaurants really are at all levels, because when they walk in season 1 and they're running the sandwich shop and there's all that yelling and screaming and all that back and forth, there are 100% restaurants that run that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you go and you see like that, the 3 Michelin star best restaurant in the world version, and there's like no talking and it's like very precise, there's also that. And I think like a good restaurateur really understands that those both things can coexist simultaneously, just not in the same place.
Cool.
So I think it's kind of cool.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Getting back to food, where
Where
have
have
I
you been eating?
Yeah. This was weird. An incredible dry-aged feast, courtesy of Matt Myers. This was not Matt Myers, by the way, one of the more ambitious chefs in this town. I mean, and I know we got people in the background here who probably know the names of all of his restaurants, and I'm not going to remember them. But he had a breakfast joint where he did about 7,000 types of eggs Benedict, and then he opened a nighttime restaurant, which again was super weird, ambitious menu in there. Then he opened a steakhouse where he was dry aging his own beef. He was dry aging fish in there. I've always felt he's a little too smart for the side of town that he lives on. And sadly, sorry, Henderson people, but you don't have a good history of supporting smart restaurants. I'm just fucking sorry. That's true. So I don't know what he's really pushing, and I'm hoping to get him onto the show to really talk about it. He's totally gotten into the dry aging thing, and he wanted to show that off for the media. So he rented a banquet room at one of the big condo towers on the Strip 2 nights in a row, had us all over there. He had Bordeaux Bob pouring,
Love
I
it.
mean, if Bordeaux Bob's pouring wine, it's going to be good wine generally. I don't know wine well enough, but all my friends tell me it's fucking great shit. And he did a 15-course meal.
Jesus.
But yeah, 15 fucking, just a quiet night, right? I'm like, so if it seems like I'm talking about it a long time, I invested a lot of time into the fucking meal. We're going to make some stories out of this shit. 15 courses. We had dry-aged fish, tuna, salmon, halibut for the fish section, a few other things. Then a duck section of the menu where we had dry-aged duck prosciutto, foie gras. We had duck hearts. We had a duck trio of confit and all kinds of shit like that. Then we had the beef and potato section of the menu where there's actually like a fucking essence of potato dish that was really insane, as well as short rib and ribeye and oxtail and all kinds of other things. Even the dessert was fermented banana, right? So like, I mean,
Cool.
he was just aging. Everything was fucking old, including me that was at this thing. I know he's doing a pop-up in October, and actually it's a pretty good deal, and we're going to have him on. We're going to talk all about that. I think it was like $300 all in for a meal of that level of what I just described, which is pretty damn good, especially if you get wine from Bordeaux Bob as part of that. I know he's doing catering. He's doing parties. We're going to get him in for an interview. We're going to know more about that. But, bravo, Matt. The guy is he's always taken big swings. And I haven't seen him hit a grand slam yet, but a guy that swings like I'm bad at sports analogies. I don't watch baseball, but
You're doing pretty good so far.
I feel like if he keeps swinging for the fences, that we're gonna watch something big happen with him. So, yeah, keep your eyes open for that. Sue and I had bites at the bar over at Sorrellina. And, of course, I like Sorrellina all the way over on the far west side of town. I just did some meatballs with pesto that was good over there. They do a green pea risotto, which is really interesting. I like summer spring peas. I like
Yeah.
green peas. It was still very heavy. I don't think the brightness shined through enough. I think maybe just a bit too much cheese or something. I would have liked just for that bright spring flavor to pop a bit more. But it's a pretty ambitious dish for the middle of, way the fuck on the west side of town. So, yeah, give Sorrellina a try. I do like those guys.
The chef over there is Michael. He was one of my pasta cooks at Esther's for a while.
Nice.
Really?
He's a good kid, man. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to dine over there yet?
No, I can't wait. I just saw a picture and I was like, shit, I know that guy.
Cool. Well, hey, chef. Then celebrity chef. Yeah, I did a big weekend. Again, people are inviting us out to things on weekends all the time now, which is fine, I guess. I just like to see my wife sometimes, but she's probably happy I'm not around. So, celebrity chef Fabio Viviani did a little preview of his new JW Marriott Italian restaurant, Ai Pazz. I spoke to him, a bunch of us spoke to him individually a little bit before the meal. So before I tell you about what he served us, here's that conversation. What do you got going on here at the JW Marriott?
So first official Fabio Viviani restaurant in Las Vegas. Beautiful setting, beautiful resort. The ownership of the hotel have done an incredible job in refurbishing, remodeling everything. We love destination resorts. I love the idea of being off the strip as a first crow at it in the Las Vegas Strip, and the ownership of the hotel has been very good to work with. They accommodated stuff that we needed with the menu item, the equipment. So it's a true kind of partnership here. And the idea for us is to come out of the get-go swinging Italian good food, right? We make everything from scratch in the house every day, just the same way we would do in the old country. All the pastas are made in-house. Everything's braised. Everything is aged. Everything is processed and clean and cooked almost every day. What we have tried to do is to keep it as traditional, as close as possible to the way that you would cook in a 50-seat restaurant in Italy, right? So that's what we're trying to do. And on top of it, of course, on the outside, there will be like a Napolitan-style pizza bar, as well as a more American oyster bar.
If you had come to Las Vegas probably, 40 years ago, right? There's one type of Italian food, and it was the Northeast American, Italian-American red sauce, cheese, and that Las Vegas still has a strong, affinity for that type of Italian. Of course, you're coming from Italy, so how do you approach those types of dishes? What do you think of those staples? And is it ever tough to give people a bit more authenticity than what their grandmother used to make?
I think we're a hybrid between an old school Rayo's and a modern Contessa or a modern Carbone, meaning the food is delicious no matter where you go. The presentation is not too high-end and is not even too rustic, right? Rayo's reminds me literally of my grandma's back there, right? Big bowl of sauce, half the pasta is off the sauce, the cheese is on one side. It's home cooking. That's why Rayo's is an institution. And then you have, something like a major food group. You have the super bangers. You have the very fine dining, fine hype. Everything is, almost hard to get there, right? We're trying to play in the middle. We want to keep it chill, but we want to make it fun. We want to keep it traditional, but with a modern twist to it. We want to keep it elevated enough to be able to serve quality, but also approachable, because I don't want to just feed the few. I want to feed everybody. See what I mean?
This is a question. I do see what you mean, yes, and thank you. This is a question that I have to ask because you're doing an off-strip neighborhood restaurant in Las Vegas. Yeah. I've been writing about restaurants in this town for a long, long time. One thing I found that they want from their Italian restaurants is large enough pastas that I can make them for lunch the next day. Yeah. Have you encountered that attitude, and are you going to be serving big-ass pastas that people have leftovers from?
So pasta portions are always generous, right? I always believe that you have to give enough pasta that you have to question whether finish it or take it home and have few bites tomorrow, right? So our pasta portions are very generous. This is not an Olive Garden, right? It's not unlimited breadsticks either. But the reality is that most places in Italy are not like that either. So we are true traditionally to what you would get in a portion in Italy. It's not something that will last you 3 days and you have leftover for the entire weekend. But if you eat a full plate of pasta and a full entree, you're leaving here rolling, because the portion are Italian portion. They're not like fine dining 2 ounces of meat and 1 ounce of vegetable type of portion either.
Right. Do you have any signature dishes that you're bringing to this restaurant?
We have a few. We have caprese tableside, very known in all my restaurants. We do that. My caprese tableside is almost like the spaghetti pomodoro that Scott Conant used to do everywhere, right? They're delicious. You gotta have them.
Does it have that much butter in it?
Not in the caprese, but by the way, it's a cheese, so there's nothing wrong with butter. I think Scott should get a Nobel Prize for peace for those spaghetti, because it made everybody agree that they were delicious. So, but yes, Wagyu meatball, staple in most of my restaurants. Caprese salad, fettuccine alfredo tableside, chicken parm. It's one of our classic. So yeah, we're playing. Listen, it's my first Italian restaurant in Las Vegas. If you go to see a concert of the Rolling Stones and they're not playing Satisfaction, you're pissed. Right. So why wouldn't I bring those 3-4 dishes here, right?
I was kind of eavesdropping on your last interview, so now I'm going to be that guy, and I feel bad about it. But I heard you make the distinction between what it means to be a TV chef and what it means to be a restaurant chef. That's really interesting to me because I've seen some great TV chefs that can't cut it as restaurant chefs and vice versa, very much so. You've been tremendously successful at both. What's the difference between the two roles?
Well, yeah, it's very different, right? The only common denominator is that you're cooking something sometime. That's the only denominator. In one, you have to be very unshy, meaning to be good on TV, you don't have to be a dick, but you need to be able to be one. To be good on TV, you don't need to be obnoxious, but you can't mind to speak your mind. To be good on TV, you have to be able to keep your train of thoughts when you're not looking at anybody because you're looking into fucking camera, right? It's easy to talk to you because I'm focusing on you. But when I have to talk about myself, that's all, usually it's for just fucking crazy people that they're talking by themselves looking at a wall, right? That's kind of TV. You look at a camera and you have to go through it. You have to talk to the person behind it. That's not easy. That's why a lot of people that are good with their hands, they're not good with their hands and talking. To be a restaurant chef, it's really fucking hard. It's a lot easier to be a TV chef. You create a couple of dishes, you're a good personality, you look cute, or you're funny, and you're successful. A lot easier. These days, there is YouTubers that have 50 times the amount of notoriety I have, and they make 50 times the money. But they can't cook 3 dishes back to back to back. On the other side, that's all I've done my entire life. I started to work in a kitchen when I was 11, opened my first restaurant I was 18, and I never stopped cooking. I have missed a lot of TV opportunity because I can't leave one of my restaurants for 3 fucking months. You see what I mean? Yeah. So it's hard to be good at both. And like you said, the majority of the people, they're good at one of the two. You see a lot of TV chefs that they can't keep a restaurant open more than 12, 18 months, but they keep getting deals because they're famous, right? And then you got me on the other side. I have a hard time going to do anything on TV because I never have time. And I can't, I need another restaurant. Like I need a hole in my head, right? Yeah. So that's funny how it works.
Well, Chef Man, thank you so much. I can't wait to try your food. I'm really excited to have you in Las Vegas. I love this resort, and I just can't wait to see what you do.
I'm happy to be in the community. I'm humbled, literally. This is one of the greatest cities in the world, full of talent, lot of opportunity, and very humbling that I have the opportunity to feed a bunch of people in Las Vegas.
As for the meal, he did that caprese at the salad that he was talking about there in the interview. I mean, he throws the curds into the water and he makes the cheese and chops the tomatoes and it's all done tableside. He also did another pasta tableside. It was really good. So there's a lot of show that goes on here. A good mushroom crostini that was fantastic. Wagyu meatballs were great. He did his orecchiette with the duck sausage, fennel, chili, white wine. It's kind of a traditional dish there, but it was really solid. I think the duck sausage added a little bit of something a little different to it. Their frutte di mare, nothing fried in there, just squidding pasta, clams, mussels, shrimp, all that kind of shit, with heirloom tomatoes, garlic, in a lobster broth. The only problem that I would have with that dish is I could not recognize the shape of the squidding pasta that he was doing. But with all of these big pieces of fish and all of this stuff going on, and then these little tiny kind of like pastas that are jet black and they're sort of hard to see. It made it hard to get an entire forkful of all the flavors that I wanted to get. I think if it had been a linguine or something that I could have rolled and then popped it, it's just me, the non-chef, who has no reason why they made those decisions, but I'm the one fucking eating it. So that's all. That would be my only mild complaint on that. But otherwise, it was really good. He did some Alfredo for us. He did some tiramisu. He did some lemon regatta cake. So that's really cool. Also, what else? Accepted an invitation to get back into the House of Blues on a Sunday morning to check out Gospel Brunch.
Yeah, baby.
I mean, this is a Vegas institution that's been going on since I moved to this town, 20 years ago. I think it's fantastic. I mean, it's something, Dan Aykroyd does the little introduction to it, on tape. And, I do feel like, as a honky, I have not been to a lot of black churches. I mean, my mom used to take me to just about any church that had a Bible school to get rid of me in the summertime. So I've prayed in just about every Christian church in the north. I've been in mosques. I've been in temples. I've been to my friend Eric's daughter's bat mitzvah temple. So I've prayed in there. I've never prayed in a black Southern church. I've never even
it's
danced or
amazing.
sang in a black Southern church. So I feel for people like me, yeah, it's goddamn cool to keep that music alive, right?
Yeah.
At some place like House of Blues. I'm down with it. I think it's worth going to. The food there is buffet style. It's all the stuff that the House of Blues always puts out. If you cater a meal there, you've had it all. You get the fried chicken, you get the barbecue chicken, you got that jambalaya. All of that was like going home to me because I used to interview bands like 3 days a week at the House of Blues. And when you interview bands at the House of Blues, they serve every band pretty much exactly what I'm describing you, right? So you could go, you can watch gospel brunch, you can eat what many rock stars
Yep.
have eaten over the past few decades, and it's a lot of fun. So I would definitely tell you, check it out. Go over there. It's part of music history. It made me want to go home and watch Sinners again.
Okay.
Right? Like, have you guys seen the Michael P. Jordan movie Sinners? Right? No? Like, okay, well, if you go see it, you want to see that
love
after
it.
gospel brunch. That's about it for me. Coming up, it is the end of an era at EDO. Delilah launches brunch service. We have a brand new happy hour report from Andrew Morgan. But first, as promised, we will be joined by our host, and they're already shooting each other looks, Bourbon Steak and former Delilah executive chef Josh Smith, and his very special guest chef James Trees. Coming up just momentarily, this is Food and Loathing. We're back as promised. James Trees, Josh Smith joining us for the roundtable here to talk about what they got going on. Reminder, we're at Bourbon Steak. This is the newest Michael Mina restaurant in Las Vegas. His second steakhouse in this very building that we're standing in, but it is unique in its own way. I love it just as much in very different ways that I love strip steak upstairs. The man who has brought it about for Chef Michael Mina is Josh Smith. He's sitting here to my left. Chef, we already said hi to you, but hi again officially.
Hey.
And James Tree is on the other side, and he's here because he's doing a special pop-up meal that I believe is going to kick off a pop-up series. It's called, I'll give you the basics of what I know. It's called Chef's Corner. James is here on July 10th. It's a collaborative thing. It might be a series. I don't know much else about it. I mean, I have seen the menu, but I forgot to print it out today.
I've got it
you
here
got
on my
it there?
phone, yeah.
Good, because I don't have my
Yeah.
phone either. I left that at home today. So, guys, tell me about Chef's Corner. What's that all about, July 10th?
I'll start out. So this is Josh. We've done a few wine dinners here since I started end of February, and they've all been really special, really fun. Usually we do them in the private dining room, and it's like 20 to 25 people. This one was coming up, and it was an Italian winery. So I started doing a little R&D and thinking about making this Italian menu. And I was already going to probably have to text James 15 times to ask questions about Italian food. And I thought, just like, why not just have somebody come in and work with me for the night? So the idea of this restaurant is Bourbon Steak is also sort of a test kitchen. Michael's given me the title of Director of Research and Development for Mina Group. And you can't be creative in a vacuum. You can't just sit here and like think about stuff. It's like it's important to work in other kitchens and see other chefs and have them come here and dine out. And James has been an incredible inspiration through a lot of the years after Esther's opening, especially. So, and he's king of the locals. I mean, like you can't get into Esther's for to save your life on a Monday evening.
I know, they tripled the size and you
Yeah.
still can't get in.
And I'll never text James for help, but it's
I do.
So
Yeah.
sure.
I'm like, please do. I mean, like, if you have my number and you want a reservation, let me know.
I always get in trouble that way. I always text Eric because
just
I know
text
you'll
me.
say yes to everything.
It's true. Yeah. All right. So it's really funny, actually. I booked like an extra 42 reservations at 6 o'clock on Saturday night, this last night. And I was like, we're just not taking walk-ins for a half an hour.
Yeah.
So, like, instead of doing 170 walk-ins, we did 120 walk-ins.
Yeah.
So there's always flow and always
Yeah.
room to do that. We
Yeah.
leave some tables off the book so that way we can get people in. But if we don't fill them, then we just take them with walk-ins, and that's the reason why people are able to get in
Yeah.
on a regular basis. So when he texts me, I'm like, yes. Usually Josh texts me and said, hey, man, had a great meal over at Bohem, or I had a great meal at Esther's. I snuck in, sorry.
Yeah, I don't tell him. Yeah.
I'm like, fucker. Yeah. So, but we have a pretty decent menu that we kind of planned out, and obviously a shout out to JD, who's in your kitchen, obviously your CDC, who's just an amazing person, and of course I brought Sean and Adam from Alsalito and from Esther's respectively, because if you're gonna do a collaboration menu, you should really collaborate.
Yeah.
So we shot the shit and sat over here and actually wrote the menu together, which is really nice.
I love that.
And I actually think we came up with some really cool and interesting things that are going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to start I didn't really know what to expect when I invited James over, and we sat down and it just happened organically. So I think this is the start of how it needs to go. This is going to set the tone. You can have somebody come in and just do, hey, you're going to do 3 dishes, I'm going to do 3 dishes. Usually they're going to pull out signature stuff that everybody wants to see, right? And that this wasn't that.
Well,
This
you
was
did
more-
that.
Is there a theme
You
or
did
a
that.
vibe?
He pulled the fucking trigger. He's like, first dish we have to do is the nudie with the beets.
I
and I'm like, what the fuck? I haven't done that dish in 3 years.
I do miss that dish. So selfishly, I did ask James for a.
I was like, yeah, we got it. Yeah, no worries.
But you got to love that that dish is something I remember and I crave when I go to Esther's, and it's not there anymore, and it's because James keeps changing things, and that's great. It's great, keeps it fresh, and that's why he stays so busy and stays so popular. So. But I want to see that dish.
Is there a theme or a vibe to this menu? Did you guys have a sort of
It's
vision
Villa
that you wanted to
Monsanto.
go for?
Yeah, it's a Villa Monsanto is the winery,
Yeah.
and it's like big Chiantis, and we just discussed things based on the wine pairings. We had Eric pulling up descriptions of the wines, and we were going through flavor pairings that would work.
Amazing.
And, just came up with what would go really well. And I think it's fun. It parlays into James's new steakhouse, and working with us. He's an old MENA Group guy, so MENA Group vet, and I think that this is going to be really cool.
No, I mean, it's so funny because, that was my first corporate gig ever was with Michael opening Bourbon Steaks. So I opened Bourbon Steak in Detroit, Miami, and Scottsdale with Sean Griffin and all these people. It's such a small world that we live in.
Yeah.
So to be able to write this menu and hang out with Josh and just an opportunity to spend time in his kitchen with his people, because obviously, JD and all these guys, they're all great guys. I mean, it's so good. And getting, Sean's perspective and Adam's perspective on the dinner and how we could put things together along with yours and mine. I mean, I always feel the more chefs that are in a room and we're collaborating, the more people who know what are going to be going on, the better the dinner goes, the more creative the menu is. And I mean, that quail dish is, I can't wait to try that quail dish. I'm super excited about that. We're going to be doing a little red wine cavatelli, with braised fresh porcinis. Then he's got a foie gras stuffed quail that's going with that. We're going to confit the legs and pick the leg meat and put that into the ragu.
Okay, I need.
Yeah,
Make your reservation.
and that's just one dish, And,
reservations are very limited on this.
yeah,
right?
we're only doing 40. I mean, here's the thing and the reason why I'm glad that we're talking to you guys is because so many of these, some of these, really fun things that people do in hotels and in restaurants that are on the strip, no one ever hears about until after they happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You guys
Trust
get
me.
this list of shit and you're like, I could do this and this, right?
Yeah,
But I'm
I
like-
mean, how many conversations I've had with different people at different places and different publications that Vegas needs a fucking calendar. Right, that when you're planning your trip to Vegas, you can go, where are the special events happening?
Shout out to
'Cause
Andrew
these things are
Corrali's The List.
fantastic, Yeah. That's cool. So,
Yeah.
James, you do a lot of these, though. You seem to always want to do this stuff, right? You do food festivals. I know you've been out at Pebble Beach Food and Wine recently. I mean, you've done cooking demos for me,
Yep.
right? I mean, you seem to really enjoy you already have a giant restaurant empire right here in one town, and yet you love to go into other people's kitchens and cook.
I just like to, because this is the only time we get to spend with our friends, because I do have 5 restaurants to worry about. Guess what? That's 5 times I can't be with my friends. I can't be with my family. So the only time we really get to spend with each other, if he's not in my restaurant, because I don't get to come down here and see him because I'm working on a steakhouse and doing this stuff. And so getting time to spend with your friends is the most important thing. And if you can do that, so that's the reason why I love Unstripped. Unstripped is my favorite event because it's literally, I'm like, these are all my friends that we want to invite.
Yeah.
I get Eric to kind of curate that list with me. And every year we try to invite Nicole, but she's got the big smoke thing that always happens. And then we always try to get Brian. And like, I love to spend time with Brian. I love to spend time with, Wes from, Casa Sol. I mean, like all these different people that we like and we never get to see. This is the only time we get to go do those things. So it's a real cool opportunity. And when I get to cook with Josh and with his staff and be it in a MENA Group restaurant, I mean, I'm not going to say no to that. Because also not only do I owe him my friendship, I also owe Michael everything. So it's like one of those things like when the person who got you to where you are says, here's an opportunity to do something, you just say yes.
Yeah.
So my answer is yes, and then we make it happen, right?
I find there's a lot of loyalty among people that have worked in MENA Group restaurants.
Yeah.
And there's a couple
Yes.
of big restaurant groups that I could also say that about.
Right.
But I've always noticed it about MENA Group restaurants. I've noticed people like Josh can go away and come back and, always welcome back into the fold. What is it about this organization that inspires such loyalty in the people that work there?
I mean, from my perspective, it's like there's, starting with Michael, like the biggest heart, the sweetest, kindest person you'd ever know, would do anything for you, and does have that spirit of like, which took a while for me as a chef to learn that like sometimes just because your best cook, your favorite cook, is crushing it for you and doing great, doesn't mean that they can't leave, expand their horizons, and come back to you and be better. Like so. Same with chefs that work under Michael. It's like I left for a while. The grass is not greener on the other side. I came back for the spirit and for the hospitality and for the culture. A lot of people have done the same, and a lot of people that have worked under his umbrella have gone on to do their own things like James. So, it's an organization that builds really powerful players in the F&B industry.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Josh Skeens, and I mean, like, if it wasn't for Michael, there's no way Josh Skeens would have an opportunity to start Saison as a pop-up and then led it to do a 3 Michelin star restaurant of the same name. That doesn't happen without people that you've worked for supporting you in some way. Like, it just doesn't. Like, having the lineage and the providence of, like, where we come from, it informs us to what our opportunities are in front of us. So like all the young cooks who are out there who think they're just going day to day, what you're really doing is you're building the basis of which you will build your career on. And so like leaving right, because that's the thing is if you don't leave right, you don't get to come back. But if if you're like me and you get fired 3 times by Michael Mina, let me tell you, like he still like pulls me aside and says, "Hey man, so happy." Like I do my voice, and he's always like, "Hey man, congratulations!" And he always wants to like see you do well. He's watching you do well, and he'll give you a text or a call and say, "Hey, congratulations on this. Hey, you're doing this. Hey man, that looks great." Or he'll text you and be like, "Hey, we should talk," right? And that's the thing is like both things are just really great to have.
Yeah.
And I feel like we both have a really great mentor in Michael. And look at the people who have come through this lineage. I mean, you have Dave Varley, Adam Sobel, right, who have just gone on to open up their own stuff. Gerald Chin, who runs the entire meat division and some of the other stuff for Michael. This was we were on the same station at CIA. We were at the same station at Bradley Ogden. So you don't lose sight of these people. You don't lose track of them.
Yeah.
And to see them continually grow and crush and build this thing has been amazing, and to see them to have the success that they have, as much as my success, right? If it wasn't for them, I couldn't do what I have an opportunity to do. If it wasn't for Michael, I definitely wouldn't have this opportunity. So it's a great thing. But yeah.
So when you guys talk about this collaboration and you talk about this wonderful community that you have built, is this going to be, I know Al mentioned it a few minutes ago, a series of collaborations? Is it going to be MENA people? Is it going to be more open than that? How do you envision this?
It'll be more open than that. I think that having James come in to do this one was organic and just happened naturally, and the meeting was incredible, and we discussed the menu and kind of were able to collaborate and work on a menu together, and I want that to be the nature of this, but it won't always be local chefs. It won't always be MENA Group, vets. It'll be whoever, I think the sky's the limit. When I was over at Bardot, we brought in, chefs from Canada, chefs from London. There was a really open door with the hotel to get them a room and buy a plane ticket and bring them in and kind of do these promotional dinners. So, I'm hoping that this turns into what this becomes, but.
I remember those. I mean, that's how I met you. And I mean, they were just phenomenal. So when I saw that you guys were teaming up, like, I kind of had a little, you know, fangirl moment because you both are just so incredible, and I just can't wait to see what you guys are putting together.
And it's the same thing. Like as we go through this, we're trying to like line things up as we're gonna go into fall at Esther's. I have 3 people who I'm trying to bring Alon Hall from New York, who we knew from LA.
Love Alon.
You know, I'm trying to get Maynard out for a dinner. I'm trying to see if Ray Garcia will wake up and fucking answer my phone call so he can come out and do a dinner with us over at Esther's too, because I love collaborating with those guys, and these are all my friends, and you know, like
I got to stop you and just because I singed Maynard whom.
Oh, no, not the lead singer Tool.
Well, I mean, I've been introduced to him by chefs.
I know.
So
I was thinking wine dinner. I was thinking wine dinner. I'm like, let's go.
So Maynard is he owns a place called Kuya Lord in California. He won best chef in California last year from James Beard. He's a great guy, and we've just known each other. Like he was the CDC at Bestia for like 10 years, right? So people think he's like, oh my gosh, this groundbreaking, you know, Filipino chef, and I'm like, I just know him from Bestia. So like from my time in from LA with him, and so like, and we met each other at the farmers market walking around.
That's awesome.
And like those are the kind of like connections that we have.
Yeah.
And now that we both have these restaurants and we're running around and doing all this stuff, I'm like, dude, come out to Vegas and hang out with us. And so like we had one of his guys, Augie Lee, come out for the industry only party that we did when we launched Esther's. And so we're really also hoping to do an industry-only party up at High Stakes when we get launched there, too. So.
And when you say industry only, you're not talking about just who you invite. You're talking about Andy Wong's group from out in Los Angeles that brings a lot of great chefs from LA into Las Vegas. Just so people out there, if you're not in the industry, you could still go to an industry-only event. At least the ones in Vegas. I think the ones in LA, he only invites people in the industry. But.
Yeah, I mean, like as he expands and builds that brand, and Andy Wang's been amazing as a supporter for us when it comes to getting the news out of like what we're doing in Los Angeles or in Vegas out to LA and the other markets across America, because you know a lot of people don't think about this, but LA is our biggest feeder market.
Yeah. And he has a lot of love for Vegas. Where a lot of
does.
people that report on Vegas don't have a lot of love for Vegas. You know, I mean,
People in Vegas who report on Vegas don't have a lot of love for Vegas lately, and I think they need to start watching what they say.
Okay, there's a throwdown. Can we have a fight? Can we book something here?
I got you.
Guys, before we let you go from this section, I need to know about other projects, right? So we're going to start with James. We're going to wrap up with Josh. James, Petite Bohem's doing fantastic. Bar Bohem's doing fantastic. Esther's Kitchen's doing fantastic. Ada's is always going to be one of my favorite restaurants. What do you have news on? Obviously, Rio. Rio is the next thing for you, right? So talk to us about the Rio.
Whoa, let's go back 1 second. Let's just talk about Ada's real quick. Ada's is moving in December, so we're excited about that.
Okay,
so,
I just was texting, when is that going to be made official?
Which makes me sad.
I was told to keep it under.
Because I can walk there from my house right now if I want a nice like mile.
Fair. That being said, you can always go to El Solito, and obviously this allows us to get a little bit weirder with our wine program at El Solito, which I'm excited about. So there's that, and then obviously Rio.
So Ada's going to be leaving Tivoli Village. You're not going to be doing anything in that second space in Tivoli Village, but you'll be taking Jackson and Kat. They'll all be going down to your little corner of the Arts District that you sort of are the mayor of down there, and they'll be opening in Ada's down there.
Yeah, no, we're excited to have Ada's opening. We're going to start Kat's Wine Club, which we unfortunately because of like we've never been able to do because of like the location of Tivoli and permitting in the city is fun. So it's like one of those things where we're excited about like finally starting a wine club, having that. Jackson deserves a better kitchen. Obviously the kitchen at Original Esther's is pretty awesome. So we're actually updating it and making it even better for him. So that's going to be great. Kat's going to have more wine storage and a wine room for tastings.
Yes.
We took the makeshift union space when it became available. So that'll be like for all of our consumer tastings and tasting bars and portfolio tastings we're going to do down there. So that's going to be super fun. Amazing. And obviously pickup day is going to be crazy. So we're really excited about having all that and being able to launch that.
Yeah.
And that's going to be great. And then we have
Rio.
Rio.
Man.
Yeah, and then the 50th floor, man. We're doing that. Yeah.
That place has always had a great view. It's never had a great restaurant, so you can change that, huh?
Good
Worst
talk.
review I ever wrote in my life.
See, you
was
did.
About
Remember?
them, man. Yes.
Remember? This is the thing. I was like, remember, you got a steak and you sent it back, and they made it more well done, even though you didn't want that.
Yeah.
No. I remember. See, I was like, you were like, I have to go back and look at that. I was like, you talked about it on the podcast maybe like a year and a half ago. I was like, no, you've been up there. You fucking hated it. So so that's good. And that's the thing is like, we're gonna give you an opportunity to hate it again.
No.
So so
As I was telling somebody from the Rio, man, you've got like naked fucking stormtroopers over there.
Yep.
You got Tony Luke's doing roast pork sandwiches, and now I got you at a steakhouse.
Bang.
That's all I fucking need out of a hotel. Like they don't even have to do the rest of the renovations. You give me Philly roast pork, naked stormtroopers, and a James Tree steakhouse. I'm in business.
And if
man.
you need me, I'll be downstairs playing miniature golf at Kiss Mini Golf with me and Eric and my sister. So I'll be like in between like 5 to 7 o'clock pushes. We'll begin to round in, you know?
I'd like to see somebody
that open already?
do a.
Oh, yeah, it's been open. It's awesome. And it's
while.
air conditioned and it's rad.
damn.
Yeah.
I'd like to see somebody do a photo shoot with the cast of Empire Strips Back, like playing Kiss Mini Golf.
That would be
I
awesome.
love
That'd
this.
be really
Yes.
cool.
Yes.
We should
Okay.
talk to Kim. We should talk to Kim Foster's husband. He's the producer
Yes.
on that show.
Okay, Josh, what else is going on over here?
Why'd you start with James?
Well, I wanted to give you the last word, man. It's your.
I got nothing new. You know, I got a 5-month-old baby and a 3-year-old at home, so that's my.
But
That's
you've
my
got a
life. Just
great
trying to
bar
be a good
menu
dad.
over here, which is relatively new since you opened, right?
Yeah, and we're gonna do some summer menu changes, and you know this restaurant's still, you know, it's new and it's like hidden, so we're really just trying to get the word out about it and you know get some people to come in from for our local menu. We're doing that $85 3-course local menu. You know, the lounge menu's great. Everything's around $30 or less.
And free parking.
And free parking.
I mean, like, there's
parking.
just in Las
Free
Vegas, you can never say the words free parking
Yes.
often enough. So free valet
Right?
parking
Yeah.
here at the Four Seasons, you guys validate, right?
This was literally one of my things that was the reason why I chose the Rio over other restaurants. It wasn't just the view; it was the free parking.
Yeah.
Like valet parking is such a huge thing when it's 120 degrees outside.
Oh, yeah.
Or you say you're coming in at 8 o'clock, it's 115.
Yeah.
Like the faster you can get into air conditioning, the better. So like I truly believe that like having that as a bonus here, and also like one thing that we haven't talked about this room that Josh has is this is a gorgeous room.
It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful for people. It's beautiful for food. It's beautiful just on its own. It has so many different features, so many very, very smart, like little cubby holes, little private dining sections, right? Like the tables, like you could be dining and the table next to you might be 7 feet away.
Yeah.
It's like you have the space of like a multi-Michelin star restaurant
Yeah.
here. It's pretty fucking awesome.
It's a great space. Well, cool. Well, thank you very much, both of you. We've got a happy hour report and the news coming up next. This is Food and Loathing.
By now, you know about Neon Feast, the app that serves up Las Vegas restaurant recommendations not from self-appointed influencers hustling for free meals or flame from disgruntled diners. Neon Feast gives you suggestions based on our conversations with Vegas restaurant pros, the chefs, managers, owners, writers, bloggers, and others who make this industry great. What kind of food do you want? What part of the valley? How much to spend? What's the occasion? Ask Neon Feast and get the answers. Also check for restaurant news and in-depth features at Neon News. We have you covered with the Neon Feast app and neonfeast.com. And for restaurant news you can use, neonnews.vegas.
Another week gone by, you are probably a lot closer to needing to hit a happy hour because, man, oh man, there's no better way to relax after work when you get out and you finally have a little free time to yourself and you get some cheap booze, you get some cheap food, you get to check out someplace new at a good deal, man. That is the way to survive the work week in Las Vegas, and nobody knows better where you should be going for happy hours than my guest, Andrew Morgan, happyhourvegas.com. He comes on here every every single week to tell us about one or two of his choices. But the truth of the matter is, man, you guys need to go to happyhourvegas.com anytime that you want to know where there's a good happy hour, because he's got like 400 of them over there. So there's a lot, but we're just going to focus on a couple of them today. Got a little bit of a theme, I think, because it is summertime and everybody's getting in the mood for one type of food. So Andrew, what do you have planned for us today? What kind of great information you have for us?
Let's talk about cheap meat. Let's talk about some barbecue.
Cheap meat? Okay, barbecue. But we want good meat inexpensively.
Good, cheap, and fast. You can only have two. Yeah, listen, barbecue in Vegas. Vegas doesn't have its own kind of barbecue style, if you will, but it covers all the different regions, all the different flavors. So there's a lot of great, selection to choose from. Like Barbecue Mexicana, it's not a happy hour, but they've got the food truck, they got the outlets, the Allegiant Stadium, stuff like that. It's super creative. There's celebrity chef gals that are, they started over at Mandalay Bay. I'm a big fan. So one day, hopefully they'll have a happy hour. But in the meantime, you're looking for some good happy hour. There are some good go-tos here. You got some accessible and kind of recognizable barbecue places like Rick's Roll and Smoke. Talk about the Pawn Stars and a little bit of celebrityism there. You got Virgil's at the Link. And then, of course, you got Lucille's. There was once upon a time, Mabel's over at Palms had a happy hour. I'm not really sure about that one anymore. It's like, I think after COVID hit, they took it down. But hey, let's petition, tell them to bring it back, because it wasn't bad at all. That's for sure.
So which of these is your favorite, man?
Yeah. So look, go-tos, Virgil's. It's on the Strip. It's a bit of a touristy place, but it's a go-to. Look, it's on the Link Promenade, Monday to Thursday, 2 to 5 p.m. It's at the downstairs bar only, though. Just make sure you know that one. You're in for sliders and tacos for $4. Like that's a good deal. You got draft beer, $6. You got kicked up lemonade and sweet tea for $7 to $8. So on the Strip, good barbecue happy hour. Virgil's is definitely a go-to place.
Virgil's definitely, in my mind, it's a tourist-friendly barbecue spot. And by that, I mean, whatever region of the country you come from, they're going to have a little bit of something there for you. So if you're on the Strip, man, you can't beat those prices. And, I mean, the Link is a fun place to hang out. And there's a lot of good bargains down there by the Link, believe it or not. I mean, there's a lot of things that are way, way, way overpriced at the Link as well. But if you poke around, you can get good stuff. And obviously the happy hour at Virgil's being one of them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a good hang, right? Like you said, it's on the Strip. Always good people watching, slightly on the skew towards train wreck. But like, it's barbecue. It's not expensive. It's on the Strip. Kind of a funny thing about Virgil's, I used to live right across the street from the Virgil's, Midtown Manhattan back in the day. Mm-hmm. So I know it's kind of touristy, but barbecue Midtown Manhattan's it's not a dime a dozen. Mm-hmm. They did it right there. They're doing it right, here in Vegas as well on the Link. So definitely hit it up if you get a chance.
Okay, cool. Any others, or is that your big barbecue spot?
No, man. Look, I got another good place. I'm up in Summerlin. I hit up the Red Rock more often than I should probably. And Lucille's is a good place. They've got good barbecue, but they got a bunch of other fun stuff, kind of barbecue related, if you will. So if
barbecue adjacent,
is that a menu, right? It's like whatever. So, but yeah, definitely good barbecue. People, especially the one at the Red Rock Casino, they have one in Henderson as well. The one I go to, the Red Rock, people are good there. It's got a great happy hour. It's in that bar lounge area only. When there's game day, they extend that happy hour. They got a reverse happy hour as well. So from 9 p.m. to close just at the bar. So good vibe there. Good menu.
You've got me craving barbecue now. You didn't say any of my favorite barbecue spots, but that's okay. That's okay. Not everybody has the happy hour going on. So
that's the thing. There's actually not a huge amount of barbecue happy hours in this town, but there are some great. Look, Wild Fig. Man, that's a place to go. That's for sure for barbecue, but no happy hour.
Yeah, Wild Fig's great. We just added them to Neon Feast. Is one of the best barbecues in town. Of course, Soul Belly Barbecue. I don't know that they do any happy hour, but they're a great place to go down in the Arts District as well. There's a lot of good barbecue in this town. But for happy hours, Andrew is the guy who knows to get you in there during the prime times at prime prices. So thank you very much, sir. Until next week, I really appreciate you coming out. Remember, go to happyhourvegas.com.
Yeah, we're relaunching our newsletter next week. So if you want to know what the F is going on in the happy hour scene in Las Vegas, sign up the newsletter. It's free. Every week we'll hit you up. You're going to know the latest and greatest and the ugliest too in the happy hour world.
Always great to hear from Andrew, but now it is time for the news. And EDO Tapas will have its final night of service in September.
Yeah.
As EDO Tapas, I
Yes.
should say. Chef Oscar Amador and partner Robert Liendo have confirmed the timeline for shutting down their groundbreaking Chinatown Spanish restaurant, rebooting it with a new project.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard this, I called out over there for an interview, and honestly, by the time you hear this, I should have done that interview. So here it is.
It is definitely something that we're sad to see gone. It's been about 7 years that we opened EDO, and it has been such a great run. It really exceeded all expectations. The tremendous local support, just the food that we could put out there. We were not even dreaming about it at first in such a small space. Obviously, Chinatown is really, really cool, but you know, Jones being a little bit farther down, we again, we love that space, and it took a lot for us to decide to close EDO just because there's a lot of great history, but we just feel that it's time to get into other projects, have a little fun, and maybe, who knows, EDO may come back in a few years in a different shape and form.
So just to make this clear, EDO will be serving its last meal at some point in September, and then you guys are done with that space completely moving forward?
Well, we do have some other projects for that space. So one of the old dreams or goals of Chef is to have a small space where he can create some of his dishes and have just a small concept where he can be evolving and presenting dishes. Not exactly like we did at EDO. I'll have him talk a little more about it, but yeah, EDO for us, initially we wanted to move it to a different location and make it bigger, but we just felt that we couldn't reproduce the same experience. And but I would pass to Oscar about his concept.
Yeah, well, I think EDO was, a story of creativity and I think success, as a small restaurant in Chinatown with 30 seats. And when we started like 7-8 years ago, we started doing this different food, and being more risky and cooking more, with new ingredients that nobody used by that time. And I think we inspire a lot off-strip, and on-strip industry and restaurants and chefs. And I make very good friends. I think the industry here it's huge. It's a big family. And as all of them know me, they know that EDO is my baby, and I wanna keep the space and do something else. We are working on that, or I'm working on that concept too, at the same time as, we're going to open Brasseria and the other project we have on Seattle, right? But yeah, EDO is, it's not going to be EDO, it's going to be something else, but it's going to be another story of a great culinary and,
Well, I need more details. Everybody wants to know, is it going to be a Spanish restaurant? Is it going to be a tapas restaurant? Are you going in a different direction?
No, it's going to be a Oscar Amador restaurant, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that, Chef. Well, thank you. Okay, so in addition to that, you have other concepts that you guys are working on, but the first of them is going to be over on Paradise Road. What can you tell me about it?
Paradise Road is going to be called Brasseria by EDO. So that's a concept where we're going to bring a lot of our classics from our Spanish cuisine, plus a few dishes that Chef will be creating. But we want to incorporate a little bit of French flair, just because Barcelona is so close to south of France, so there's a lot of influence already in Barcelona. When you walk through the coast, you're going to see a lot of people speaking French, and the dishes, it really translates. So we decided to bring that beautiful design of a brasserie and then introduce both cuisines in there. So it's a space that will sit approximately 110 people. Open kitchen concept, a large bar for about 20 seats. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Paradise, that stretch has a lot of great restaurants. Ferraro's that has been there for many, many years. Cleaver that is doing great. A lot of that local vibe. So we feel that introducing that restaurant in there will bring a lot, not only for the locals, but also for people that come for the conventions and for the hotels.
And do we have an opening date set for that in mind?
That's going to be somewhere in October. So I know we keep stretching. It is a really old building, so there were a lot of challenges.
Okay, so it sounds like you guys have some great stuff coming on. I should also mention, though, that everybody can get into EDO and they can enjoy this through September. Are you doing anything special to welcome people in during this kind of goodbye period?
So we are bringing the biggest hits back. So we're going to be changing the menu somewhat frequently, where we're going to revive some of the old dishes that people always ask about. Oh, when are you bringing those back? Obviously, we have to go with the season. It's pretty warm right now, but we're going to try to bring some of the winter dishes also as much as we can. And we're, in addition to the tasting menu, we're going to we made changes to the menus, and we brought some of the OGs back.
And I got to ask, because that, of course, is not the only thing you guys have going on. One of my favorite restaurants, my favorite place to sit at the bar, just have a few bites, is Anima by EDO on Russell Road. We're sitting here doing the interview now, so I know it looks as beautiful as ever. But, Chef, I need to know, anything new coming to Anima, or are you just going to keep rocking on with what you're doing?
Well, we're going to keep, as we do every season, changing the tasting menu. Upcoming in September, we're going to update the tasting and being very seasonal as we do always.
Gyu Social, which is the upscale back room hidden behind the Chinatown Japanese sando shop Gyu Plus, will once again add Argentinian and Italian cuisine to its repertoire when the Italio pop-up returns on July 11th. They'll be offering a 4-course menu, poached pear with gorgonzola, fish puttanesca, flank steak with bone marrow salsa verde, and mango semifredo. That's $99, and half off bottles of wine and sake if you want to drink it up while you're there. There are 2 seatings, 6 and 8:15, and you can make reservations through, I believe it's Open Table.
That's awesome. SW Steakhouse at Wynn has temporarily closed its doors for renovations. They are scheduled to reopen on August 7th. Nobu Matsuhisa will host a pair of events this September. God, this year is flying by.
I know, right?
At a Caesar's Palace restaurant.
It's just so frightening. Another day closer to
I
death.
was like, September? What? Wait, tomorrow's July. Yes, so Nobu will be hosting a pair of events this September at its Caesar's Palace restaurant. On Tuesday, September 16th, you can join him for a Taste of Nobu West reception-style event featuring dishes from 10 Nobu restaurants on the West Coast and beyond. The next day, he'll be teaching a hands-on sushi class.
Whoa.
I know. Tickets for each event start at $500, and you can find more information at the Caesars website.
I got a phone call from Christina Nguyen at District 1. She had just seen an Eater story on her restaurant closing. And Eater, by the way, got their info from the Review Journal. Well, Christina and I have actually spoken about them closing, revamping, and then reopening, and we had plans to speak about it in detail as soon as the dates and everything else was locked in. She called me from the road saying she still wants to share a lot of the details that didn't appear in the online stories, so we're planning to sit down together this weekend and learn all about it. So yes, D1 in Chinatown, just a few doors down from EDO Tapas, will spend much of this summer closed for renovations. If you want to know details, you will have to tune back in next week. Also, 50 Top Pizza USA announced its choices for 2025. Congratulations to Pizza Rock and 00 Pie and Pub, which came in at number 33 and number 43, respectively. And also, congrats to Dana Point, California's Truly Pizza, which has Vegas roots through Michael Vacnine, Chris Decker, and John Arena. They came in at number 9 this year. And I've just confirmed that Neon Feast and our friends at Happy Hour Vegas will be sponsoring a party at Flanker in Mandalay Place on Tuesday, July 15th to launch their Taco Tuesdays promotions. We'll be down there most likely from 4 to 6 p.m., although things will be rocking until 11 p.m. Specials include 2 tacos for $9 at $25, 3x3 taco and margarita flight, $6 drafts, $9 margaritas. I'll be there hanging out. I believe Gemini will be there as well. Rich will come down and record some of the fun so we can share it on this podcast. But honestly, you should really come down in person.
And Delilah, we mentioned this just a little bit earlier, in Wynn, Las Vegas, is launching a Saturday brunch starting July 12. That's about 2 weeks, give or take. We don't have a lot of info yet, but a flyer promoting the launch promises live music, a champagne tower, and, quote, surprise and delight moments.
Ooh.
I mean, if anybody's going to do that, the Wynn's going to do it.
I mean, you win, and honestly, Delilah surprises and delights me
so
whenever
good.
the fuck I'm there.
Right?
So I should have a moment. And that is about it for this week. This is going to be a long one, Rich.
It is.
Did we go
Yeah,
crazy
it's
long
okay.
this week?
Yeah, like who cares? Like you care.
Like I care. Hey, did you want me to cut off our guests? They were
No,
phenomenal.
I did not.
Yes.
No.
So I am Al Mancini with Rich Johnson.
Yeah,
Al
like you
Mancini,
care.
that's me. I'm with Rich Johnson and Gemini Stevens. I want to thank our host, Josh Smith, and our guest, our main guest this week, James Trees, as well as our other guests, Fabio Viviani, and the guys at EDO. On behalf of everybody, remember to eat well, drink well, tip well, and always stay hungry.